He now knows he faces the death penalty if he's convicted of kidnapping, raping, and strangling 8-year-old Cherish Periwinkle.
Today, 56-year-old Donald Smith appeared in court for the first time since he was indicted on charges that could bring his execution. Channel 4's camera was the only one in the courtroom when Smith was formally advised of the charges against him. Channel 4's Haley Winslow was there. She's joining us now live from the jail where Smith is being held without bond. Haley, did Smith show any reaction?
Well, Tom, at one point he had his head in his hands, but other than that, no, he didn't really show much reaction at all. And if he gets the death penalty, he could die from lethal injection much sooner than executions in the past. In an orange jumpsuit, which means he's dangerous, and with a direct stare, 56-year-old Donald Smith slowly walks into J1 for his first appearance and sits in the front row. About a half hour later, Judge Emmett Ferguson calls him up and reads his charges.
Mr. Smith, you're charged here with kidnapping a child with intent to commit sexual battery, first-degree premeditated murder, capital sexual battery.
There's no bond for Smith, who then walks out to return to his jail cell. Prosecutors have already announced they will seek the death penalty in this case, and if a jury decides that's his punishment, he may die from lethal injections sooner than it's taken other executions. That's because of a bill Governor Rick Scott signed into law last month to speed up the execution process. The average time on death row before an execution is 13 years. The goal of the legislation, called the Timely Justice Act, is to cut the waiting time to 10 years, but some attorneys don't agree with it.
I don't think the legislation is actually necessary. I think a great deal of the precautions and timelines are already set into place. I don't think it's necessary because I think you run the risk of having somebody who's innocent executed. We've seen people who have been exonerated come off death row that had the legislation been in effect and had been expedited, then we would have killed innocent people.
Former prosecutor and current criminal defense lawyer Richard Kurtz says the new legislation isn't stopping criminals like Smith, who was accused of kidnapping, raping, and strangling 8-year-old Cherish Periwinkle after Governor Scott signed the bill into law.
It's clearly not going to be a deterrent to the crimes because the crimes are still happening, and it clearly did not impact this defendant's actions with Cherish.
Kurtz says the new legislation could help get better lawyers involved, but it's ultimately not the answer.
As far as the Cherish Periwinkle case, obviously it's a very sad case, and it's a shame that something wasn't able to be done to prevent it. But this kind of legislation is not going to stop that kind of thing. We need to figure out a way to stop this kind of thing.
Kurtz says oftentimes that starts with parents instilling good values in their children at a young age. Now, I've been to a lot of first appearances, and I have never seen anything like what happened today. Coming up at 6, what an inmate did to Donald Smith in the courtroom. For now, reporting live at the Duval County Courthouse, Haley Winslow, Channel 4, the local station.